Corporate minimalism is the AIDS of modern corporate America. Wow, that was a heavy start. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know if we should go straight into the AIDS jokes 30 seconds into the video. If corporate minimalism was a race of people, I would... Wow, that was even worse. How about something way less intense for the intro of this video? I would rather have my foreskin reattached only to rip it back off again than participate in corporate minimalism. Who wrote this? Were those the only 3 intros we had for this video? Screw it, I'll just wing it. Corporate minimalism sucks, and I hate it. And this video is just going to be me mocking it relentlessly. And for those of you that don't know what corporate minimalism is, use context clues, please. You're killing me.
Think, Mark, think!
But to put it in layman's terms, it's oversimplification. Or taking the concept of less is more to the extreme. For the past several decades in corporate America, for whatever reason, companies are just oversimplifying things about their products and their brands to the point where they have successfully removed concepts such as fun and personality from their products, brands, business, whatever you want to call it. It's like when Shang Tsung sucks the souls out of his enemies in Mortal Kombat. That's essentially what our corporate overlords are doing to their brands and companies, just sucking the soul out of it for things such as yada yada yada, efficiency, less is more, yada yada yada. We want to put as little effort in as possible to maximize profit. We don't want to work for this. We don't want to make this fun, but we do want your money. That's basically what they're doing. By itself, the approach of less is more is not by itself a bad thing. There are a lot of situations where the approach of less is more works, like in storytelling, or something as simple as like healthy eating habits, or like if you're trying to get a message across to someone, you don't want to overcomplicate it to the point where it's just a mess and they don't understand what you're trying to say. Less is more. Make it as simple and easy to understand as possible. That's not what this is about. Inherently, less is more is not a bad thing. This video is about taking that concept to the absolute zenith where you're just beating it to death and everyone's unhappy and it's your fault and everyone hates you. Now, this isn't really an original or new topic of conversation. I mean, several years ago, JonTron did a video on this very thing where he was mocking the oversimplification of corporate logos. And that's kind of where I got the idea for this video from, and definitely go check that video out. It's a hilarious video. I myself even made a video making fun of corporations for their weird branding. It wasn't really making fun of corporate minimalism. It was that Mountain Dew Frostbite video I made several years ago. I guess it could be considered corporate minimalism because they pretty much made a new flavor of Mountain Dew, even though it was the exact same flavor as Blue Voltage. It was Frostbite, where they basically taste the same, except they just slapped a different logo on the bottle, and they were like, yeah, this is a new thing, even though it's not. I guess that could be considered corporate minimalism. I don't know. And I think a good example to start with would be a fairly recent one that caused a lot of controversy. Cracker Barrel. Everyone knows about this because it caused an absolute firestorm. Long story short, they decided to change the logo for no reason in particular and just removed the personality from the brand to the point where everyone got pissed off and the backlash was so intense that they backtracked, like, what, a week or two later and just changed back to the old logo because people were pissed? Yeah, that's a very good example of this problem, and one of the few instances where enough people got mad about it that the company had to go back and fix it, you know? Fix a problem that they created. This was not even an issue. There was nothing wrong with the old logo, but they decided to ruin not just the logo, but the way the inside of the store looks as well. Completely change the tone, atmosphere, and vibe of the restaurant for no reason, because I'm just convinced at this point that corporations are run by socially illiterate morons. And not only that, but there was a progressive woke angle to this as well. I mean, they added a a gay section to the Cracker Barrel website? Because when you think Cracker Barrel, you think, how can we make this gay? What?
Everything must be gay. Everything must be gay. Everything must be gay.
I mean, just look at this CEO. Are we really that surprised? A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Everything must be gay.
Oh, speaking of Cracker Barrel, I found this. Crack bar. I like that one. I like that. They should adopt that. That'll bring in an interesting customer base. Now, I'm not going to focus on Cracker Barrel too much. It's a good example, but it's been talked about to death, and it's not even that relevant anymore. My whole philosophy is strike while the iron is room temperature. So there are several other examples that I want to go over in this video. Like Dunkin' Donuts, for example. And this was one of the ones that was in JonTron's video. This is probably the one that hurt me the most. We've gone from Dunkin' Donuts to just Dunkin'.
It's so boring.
It's as insufferable as when white girls use fam instead of family. It's the same kind of cringe that just pushes you closer and closer to jumping off of a bridge. Like, seriously, how can you look at this and then this and think to yourself, option 2 is the better one? No! What? Oh my god. This kind... I don't even like coffee. I hate coffee. It tastes like shit. But holy crap. And speaking of food, drink chains, and whatnot, one that's really close to my heart and my arteries is McDonald's. I love McDonald's. I go there way too much. I'm going to die soon. My insides are probably made of fake meat and mayonnaise. But like, the logo is still fine. They haven't found a way to make the arches boring yet. But they've done two things over the past decade or so that have just completely infuriated me. To the point where there's nothing they could do to make me not go to McDonald's because I'm too addicted to their food. It's a problem. I should probably seek help. But for one, I cannot remember the last time I've seen Ronald McDonald in any of their advertising. I get that a lot of people are afraid of clowns. But those people are pussies and you shouldn't listen to them. Clowns are awesome. I have not seen Ronald in an advertisement in a long... He was fun! He was part of the draw to McDonald's. Oh, are we going to see the wacky clown this time? There are a lot of kids that love clowns, but there's been no Ronald McDonald anywhere except for my wrestling show. And I gave him steroids for some reason. My show is weird. Please subscribe. I hope one day they find him. Okay, while I was editing, I discovered that apparently Ronald's been involved in a few events over the past couple of years, like a McDonald's All-American Games event in April of last year, a NASCAR event in the summer of last year, and he was afloat in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and he's been in some YouTube shorts and whatnot.
That's not good enough!
But not only that, I think the more obvious one that everyone has noticed, they've taken the building, not even the logo, but the building. It used to look like a fun playhouse where you could like go with your family and have a good time. It had a fun atmosphere. They've Shang Tsung'd that, and now it looks like a boring-ass office building. Like, sometimes I walk in there and I half expect to just see a bunch of just cubicles. Remember that episode where, like, SpongeBob went normal and they were literally printing Krabby Patties? That's basically how I feel when I go to McDonald's now. I'm like, did I get this McDouble? Did I get this Big Mac out of a printing machine? That's how this boring-ass looking McDonald's that has been around for a depressing and infuriating amount of time, that's what it looks like. It doesn't look fun. I mean, look at what they've done to Pringles. How could you f*** up Pringles? The first logo in 1967 doesn't look great. He kind of looks like a demon. I can see why they changed that. But in 2002, the 2002 one is perfect. That has so much life and energy and color, and it makes me want to buy some Pringles. It activates the neurons in my brain that are like, oh, Pringles, I want that digesting inside of me. Even the 2009 one, like, they removed the background, which is a negative, but they added a little bit of definition with the eyebrows and the mustache, which is fine. It's not bad. The 2002 and the 2009 ones are just peak Pringles logo, but 2020, they removed his head! They ripped his face off! They massacred my boy! Oh my god. I would take the weird-looking demon-possessed 67 one over the 2020 one. Oh my god. At least the 1967 one has a personality, even if that personality is...
I will bring death to humans.
Even though that one's scary, I'll still take that one over complete and utter boredom. Bro, in 2055, the Pringles logo is gonna look like this. Here's one that really, really upsets me, and everyone that knows me is going to immediately roll their eyes, but I never even really liked this soda to begin with, but it had a cool name. I was at least fond of Sierra Mist, the name. It was a cool name for a soda. Sprite was better. It was like dollar store Sprite, but whatever. It was fine. Couple years ago, they were like, Sierra Mist sounds too interesting. How about Starry?
Soiled it! Soiled it! Soiled it!
Where's my gun? I cannot describe to you, in words, how much I utterly detest Starry. Sierra Mist sounded so cool, and the logo was cool, but Starry is just so generic sounding. It's so boring. Sierra Mist sounds adventurous or like something larger than you're just drinking soda. Starry, it feels like they just pulled that name out of a hat. Like, hey, corporate marketing manager, what? Give us a name. Give us a name. Give us some snap. Starry. It sounds like the director of marketing was just tired of them yelling at him, so he just shouted the first thing that came to his mind to get his overbearing, micromanaging boss to shut up. That's Starry. And now for a particularly painful example of this practice, one that hurts me spiritually. I'm a big wrestling fan. Most of the videos I make are wrestling oriented. Guess what company, now that I'm talking about wrestling, guess what company has decided to delve into this practice of corporate minimalism, or at least did a decade ago? Our very own WWE. God, why? Not even joking. One of the things that got me interested in WWE in the first place was I thought that the Scratch logo, their logo from 2002 to 2014, I thought it looked cool. Like the intro, would be just various moves happening, people flying around, pyro explosions, and the Scratch logo would always be, it looked like barbed wire. It looked dangerous. It looked deadly, like, ooh, this is something you shouldn't be watching. It had that edge to it. It had that Copeland to it, the haha funny joke. And it's honestly, I think, one of the better logos out there as far as like an entertainment company is concerned. It just looked cool. But no, in 2014, they had to straighten up the edges, and now we have this boring pile of shit. Yeah, that's what I want when I watch wrestling, whenever I want to watch something violent. Straight lines. Man, it wasn't bad enough that they changed to this logo. Then they had to make their world titles just that logo. The logo belt. Oh my god. And we still kind of have them, although they've added a gold background. But remember that time period where the WWE title was just the W logo, the boring-ass new logo, and that's it. And the Universal title, which I made, several years ago, I made a very long rant about how much the Universal title sucks ass. It was like, it's the logo again, but red. Except on SmackDown, blue. And the women's titles were just more of the same, except with a white strap, because women. It was dumb and horrible, and it kind of reflected how sterile and boring the product was getting. That's one issue with all of this. Let's remove the personality from our logos and branding and the buildings that we work in. You make your product feel limp and sterile and just not fun. You're sending a message of we're not fun. We just want your money. And you're surprised when people stop. Give us fun and we'll give you money. I thought that money was all that you people cared about. You know, I changed the Pringles logo to what I foresee happening in the future just a minute ago, but I'm going to further injure myself by changing some logos of things that I actually like. I'm going to get ahead of the curve here, like a true monster. Let's see. I love Dragon Ball Z. Let's see what magic I can work with a new logo. I think it's been, fun for too long. Oh, that one hurt me. That hurt. That. Dragon Ball Fight. Remove the Dragon Ball from it. Just have you seen the new Dragon Ball series? Fighting. I think we're running the risk of making this too simple. What about Sonic? Sonic the Hedgehog, another one of my favorites. Let's not convey a sense of speed or fun, because I don't want people to get too confused. Let's just... Fast blue. That's what he is. He's fast and he's blue. Not simple enough. Just speed. And you know what? Just to hammer this home and close out, I'm going to redesign my logo, my TAW logo that I've been using for several years at this point. This was actually designed by a friend of mine. But now, since you know what? It's too complicated. I don't think people understand what I'm doing here. I need to maximize my own efficiency, whatever the hell that means. So here's my new TAW logo. I'm going to change the name of the company as well, from Totally Awesome Wrestling to Totally Amicable Wrestling.